We're going to play for the state championship in Division II Class A here at Reese Smith Jr. Field on the campus of Middle Tennessee State University. University School of Jackson against Harding Academy. They've already met once today. Harding won that by a 12-2 count, and now they get ready to play for the 6th time this season. Mike Keith and Chip Walters set to call the action for you. Chase Hensley pitching for USJ, and we are underway just like that.
Just like that, Mike. These two teams playing for the 3rd time during this state championship tournament.
Hensley dealing it to Flowers. And missing. It's a count of 1-1. Hensley, the big junior, 6'3", 230, fires a strike. And Hensley and the Bruins trying to bounce back after being disappointed this morning. They had a chance to put it away and win the state championship, jumped out to a 2-0 lead, and then saw it all fall apart. Fouled off. Flowers in the game this morning, 2 for 3, drove in 3, scored a run. Parks, the right fielder, against Hensley, who beat Harding Academy 13-0 in the first meeting and just struck out Flowers looking. In that first matchup 2 days ago, Hensley, 5 innings is all it took him. And he was able to take care of business, allowing 8 hits, 1 walk, 5 strikeouts. This is Hurdle, the shortstop. Swings at the first pitch and fouls it out of play over toward the families of Battleground Academy, who are celebrating their Division II Class AA state championship, their first ever.
We had a great game there. Had really an unexpected turn of events in the first championship game between these two, but for Harding and USJ, all down to 1 game for all the marbles here.
Let's look at the defense. Hardin's the third baseman, or an outstanding shortstop. Outfield, very good. Mayhall, Garner, and Browse. Pitch in there for a strike. Counts 1-2. Hensley throws it in, and it's fouled out of play as staying alive is Hurdle. Hurdle in the first contest, 0 for 2. He did score a run. That game turned in a very strange way. It was 2-0 after 1, USJ. Harding scored 3 in the second, 1 in the third. Went to the bottom of the 5th, and we saw him score 8 runs. Chopper, the third baseman, hardened up with it, throws to Fenley for the out. 2 up, 2 down. That was really just an explosion. It's a 4-2 game, and you're thinking, well, USJ could come back and win it, or Harding may finish him out. We'll see. And then suddenly, just like that, it was over.
Yeah, the run rule went into effect. I mean, even when it was, 9-2 at the time, and still needed 3 runs for the run rule to go into effect, you didn't really feel that coming, and all of a sudden it was there.
And it was over. Beasley takes a strike, and now a ball. Zach Beasley, the third baseman, 1 for 2 in the first game with a walk. Mentioned in that first contest, he has set the Lions' single-season record for hits with 51. That probably won't be number 52, as up with it is Hughes, and he throws him out. So 3 up, 3 down as Chase Hensley, the big right-hander, gets the job done. Nothing doing for the Lions. The Bruins going to take their turn. And they're going to come out and see Jackson Ward, who was the DH in the first game, had a really good game at the plate. 2 for 3, drove in a couple of runs. And the left-hander is going to take the ball and try to take charge. USJ has more pitching available than does Harding, but the good news for Harding is with it being a 5-inning first game, it buys them a little more ability to switch it up. Plus, the 8th grader Jake Criswell went all 5 innings, and so they were able to save everybody else.
And also with Jackson Ward, for every inning he can go, that will make things a little bit easier for Harding Academy coach Al Stevens.
Because you creep towards some people who may be able to suddenly come back. If you're not familiar with the rule, you can throw 10 innings in tournament play over consecutive days. So, for example, if you went 7 yesterday, you could throw 3 today, and that's to protect the young men's arms, which is a very good rule. Look at the defense for the Harding Academy Lions. Beasley and Hurdle outstanding on the left side. In the outfield, we saw Eccles make some wonderful plays, and Eskew, the catcher, had a fantastic defensive game in the first go-around, including throwing out a would-be base stealer.
You also see on those Harding uniforms wearing those Montreal Expo-style caps that they use to raise money for a teammate who has terminal cancer, help raise money for his family. And the young man's name is, we'll get a good look at the back of one of those hats, but those tricolored red, white, and blue Expos hats that they're wearing this year.
Mayhall is the hitter. Lee played center field in the first game, moves to left field in this contest, 1 for 2. Also reached base on a walk. Takes a strike, and then takes a ball. And so as he faces Ward, the left-hander, trying to get something started right off the bat. Slow curve stays upstairs. USJ 33-13, Harding Academy 30-13. We mentioned this is the 6th time they've played this year. That ball's roped to left center. See if Eccles can run it down. He got it. Outstanding jump. Chip by Eccles. If he doesn't get that jump, that's probably 3 bags.
That's first, great vision to see it come off the bat. Eccles was able to make that very first step toward the baseball and did not hesitate. And as you can see there, running not only away from his own dugout, but at an angle toward the wall. Not an easy catch to make.
Tyler Harden, the third baseman, first ball swinging, hits it to second. Stewart up with it. 2 up, 2 down. And so with nobody aboard, Ryan Gardner will get a chance. Gardner 0 for 2 in the first game. Did score a run as he reached on a fielder's choice. He's playing center field in game 2. Would be available to pitch late if needed. Pitches inside.
I tell you, there's great high school baseball in West Tennessee, and you get down into the city of Memphis in particular, and Shelby, Fayette counties down there. I mean, just it has been good for a long time. Germantown was kind of the ringleader for a long, long time. But these private schools, Harding Academy, among others, they've been very, very good.
Inside to Garner, and he takes the free pass. So we have our first base runner of the game, and it's going to bring up Matheny, the catcher. Reed 1 for 2 in that first game. And if he were to reach, Hensley would get a turn. Trying to get something started. Now Garner can really run. Quite an athlete. And for that reason, Ward is going to have to keep an eye on it. Garner takes a strike. Calling balls and strikes Mark Newman. Keith Chard at first. Fred Hudgens at second. Jeff Wilson at third. Those are our men in blue for this contest. The 0-1. Ripped to left field and very deep. Going back is Brown. Just in front of the warning track, he looks into the sun, drifts into the shade, and makes a nice catch to end the inning. Well, Matheny gave it a ride, but comes away with just a loud out. No score after 1. The Bruins and the Lions. And again, 1 game for the state championship. We'll play 7. Of course, it could go longer. Tomorrow, 3 games, all just single contest at 11, 2, and 5 in classes A, AA, and AAA. Larger tournaments, and so the double elimination portion is over by the time they get here, Chip.
That's correct. What happens on the public school side is you play, you have 2 different brackets that you win your own bracket, and then you have a one game for everything. So with only 4 teams coming in each class in Division II, you can play a true double elimination all the way through. And you started the day here at Reese Smith Field thinking you could play only 2, could be 4. Ended up we're playing this being the 3rd game of the day on this field.
And they met at 10 a.m. Central Time this morning, and so from the time that it ended, they had approximately a 3.5-hour wait. How do you think that affects them?
Well, I saw Harding Academy's team here at the ballpark for a good bit of the other game, which, on a hot day like this, USJ, I think, took their players. Don't know if they took them back to the hotel or whether they took them got them on a cool bus or something just to kind of, because, as every inning you go along and you're in this heat today, and it's only 85, 87, 88 degrees, but still the hottest stretch of weather we've had this year. Those legs, especially when you're in your 3rd day of playing, every ounce of coolness you can get to help save them is good.
You see the lineup for Harding Academy. First 3 were up and down in the first against Hensley. This is Riley Eccles. He'll be followed by Matt Brown and Matt Harford. 4, 5, and 6 for the Harding Academy Lions from Memphis, Tennessee. 1-0 the count. Eccles, who made that nice catch in center field last half. 2 for 2 in game 1 with a couple of runs scored, and he knocked one in. 2-0 the count. Hensley throws the upper 80s fastball and also a nasty breaking ball, which I think we just saw right there.
We just saw that.
Really sets that up well. The 2-1. Little low. Hensley just back in the last month from a pretty serious back situation. Did roughly 4 months of rehab, as there's a ball on the ground. Stewart up with it, and Eccles the first man down. And so you wonder, speaking of the heat and speaking of the hottest stretch, Chase had to work very hard on his conditioning, on his rehab, but obviously that's not as good as playing or doing things with your teammates out in the heat. Stamina today for him.
Well, I think you have a double-edged sword right there when you talk about him. The downside of that sword is exactly what you talked about with stamina. But, I mean, you and I both have had a stiff back from swinging a golf club.
First hit of the ball came there by Brown as he drives it to center field. Let you finish that thought.
As maybe awkwardly hitting a golf club or something, and you end up with a little stiffness. You tend to feel a little better the hotter it is. So, So that maybe there's a fine balance there of keeping him loose and zapping him of his stamina. So we'll see how it plays out.
Chip, that's a great point. Had not even thought about that the heat maybe in some way helps him. Pitch to Harford is just outside ball 1. But Hensley had a very serious situation and looked like it was going to cost him for a while his whole junior baseball season. And what great hard work, and doctor's doing a good job with him, and he is, I think, really appreciating this opportunity even more because of that.
There's great sports medicine across this state as well, and every school has somebody.
On the ground, left side. Throw to second. They get him. Outstanding play by Orr to Hughes. Orr ranged far to his right, dove and came up with it, but the decision making, not trying to go to first, instead trying to go straight to second very quickly.
Boy, you see Orr going deep in the hole, extending himself, the turn, the quick flip, the out there to get the lead runner. And, just knowing his instincts, knowing if he could make the play, or made the right decision.
If you're scoring at home with us, it's a fielder's choice 6-4. Runner at first, 2 down, top of the second, no score. Harding at USJ. This is Ward, the pitcher, trying to help himself. In the dirt, blocked by Matheny. Jackson Ward, 2 for 3 in the first game, drove in 2, scored 2. Harding looking to get on the board first. Good lead at first by Harford. Hensley notices it and throws over. Playing first base is the man who was the starting pitcher in the first game, Finley. Runner going, ball fouled out of play. 1-2 now the count.
Mike, we are literally in the catbird seat here today. We are being able to watch great baseball, and looking down the right field line, we see packed stands at the Dean Hayes Track and Soccer Complex for the state track meet going on.
Spring fling is a great thing. Off speed, up and in.
You can rhyme anytime.
Was not intentional, but it's a gift.
It's quite an undertaking here in the city of Murfreesboro, and a lot of folks put a lot of work into it.
Line to right. This is going to be trouble for the right fielder, Browse, as it gets by him and goes to the wall. They're going to wave Harford home. The throw is going to be high and offline, and it's the first run of the game for Harding Academy. Taking third on the throw is Ward on what I believe will be scored a double.
I think you're right there, Mike, that was a double. Browse took a rather odd angle at the ball and tried to make a play instead of stopping the ball. And when he made that decision, it was kind of all or nothing. And as you see him try to make that decision, it does get by him, goes all the way to the wall, and allowed the extra base, allowed the run to score, and it gives Harding Academy that 1-0 lead.
Batter now is Eskew, the catcher. The pitcher, Ward, who took third on the throw, replaced by Criswell as a runner. Hensley just missed inside. 1-1 the count. So Criswell is the man at third in a 1-0 game. Colin Eskew 1 for 2, drove in 2 in that first game. In the dirt, 2-1. And the ball, in the last hit by Ward, ball came off the bat rather oddly, and it did seem to fool Browse for just a second. Banking it off his ankle, Eskew, that's a foul ball, count 2-2.
One thing we've noticed, the wind direction has changed a little bit at field level. We have the flag in straightaway center field. Seems to be blowing almost straight out now, and the flag's on top of the football stadium blowing nearly straight in from left.
The pitch. Got it. Second strikeout of the ball game for Hensley, but you have to give credit to Harding Academy. A run on a couple of hits. No errors and one man left on base after 1.5. Harding Academy, the Lions in front of University School of Jackson. The Bruins 1-0. As it'll be the second turn upcoming for the USJ Bruins, who have not had any offense since the first inning of the first game, and that's been a long time. It's a funny thing in baseball when it goes away. They got off to a hot start and they had some things happening, and then they just had a couple of things go wrong on the base paths, and since then, just really not much consistency. You've got to be able to string something together, and to this point, that hasn't happened.
Well, couple of things, points on that is, number one, I heard a very smart man and a coach talk one time about momentum, and he goes, it is hard to start and it is hard to stop. And Harding Academy, to their credit, turned momentum in game one, and right now seem to have picked up where they left off and continue doing what is they feel will be leading them to a state title.
TSSAA is the place for all the best in regular season and championship high school sports action in Tennessee. Log on to watch the Spring Fling Championship coverage live and on demand. TSSAA
Have you watched that from your...
Yes.
It's unbelievable.
The quality is really fantastic.
And for folks who haven't done it, TSSAA I was across campus here watching you guys do the early game, and okay, when do I need to get to the ballpark? Well, I just watch it. Said,
there you go.
There it is.
It was convenient for Chip Walters.
So their work is done.
Chase Hensley, the pitcher, saw Jackson Ward double in a run Now he'd like to help himself as he fouls off the first one. Hensley 1 for 3 as the DH in the first game today with a run batted in. Hensley is a big guy. Good-looking football player, too. Going to be recruited, I would think, in both sports and probably going to have a decision to make. Has the ability maybe to be kind of that H-back type of guy in college football.
Well, you had Beathard in our earlier game, who's a great baseball player, but he's a high-level Division I quarterback.
Going to Iowa. They had a bunch of guys who are going to play Division I baseball in that last game, correct?
I think MUS has, what, 3 Ole Miss signees?
That's what somebody was saying, and Radovian is a Wake Forest signee from Battleground Academy as Hensley swings and misses, counts 2-2. These teams both a little bit younger. Hensley hits it hard to short. One hop, it's snared by Hurdle, throws across the diamond, and on the scoop, making the play is Harford.
Snow cones. Get your snow cone out there.
So Hensley's retired. It brings up Hughes.
But great job by Harford right there to handle that short hop. There's probably not a tougher play that a first baseman has to make unless it is that really short hop right at your ankles. That one he had a little bit of height to it, so made it just a bit easier to make the catch.
Hughes 0 for 2 in the first game. And this point in the day, on a hot day, that dirt's pretty hard by now. Ball looped into right field, going to drop for a base hit. Hughes with a flare, and he's aboard. And that brings up Ben Bross.
I tell you, Flowers did a good job keeping that ball in front of him because that flare had a little English on it, and he had to react when it hit the ground because it made a right turn. And Flowers did a nice job of keeping that in front of him and holding Hughes to just one base.
And how many times do you see that the outfielder charging in gets that funny hop and it ends up being an extra base? That one's hit deep to left. Headed back is Brown, and then he circles back under it as the wind stopped it and held it up. Looked like that one was going to carry a lot more, but referring to the last game again, we saw a ball in the third inning of the game hit deep to left that the wind just absolutely knocked down, and to a lesser extent, the wind having an effect on that one. You see him atop the football stadium as Finley is going to come up and hit. Finley, first ball hitting down the right field line. Flowers charging over and makes the catch. So no runs, a hit. No errors and one left. We played 2 at Reese Smith Jr. Field. Division II Class A State Championship. Harding Academy 1, USJ nothing. Austin Stewart will be the leadoff hitter as Harding Academy, leading 1-0, will send up hitters 9, 1, and 2 as we enter the top of the third. Pitch just a little bit low from Hensley, 1-0. And it's gotten even hotter. A lot of fans out in the crowd.
Every once in a while when the wind changes, it blows some hot air into our air-conditioned booth here, Mike.
The 1-1. Loop to right field. Rouse has to fight it off a little bit, but he's able to make the catch. So 1 up, 1 down, and here's Flowers, who struck out looking back in the first. Parks Flowers, 21 home runs in his career at Harding Academy. He has got some power. Swings and hits that one deep to center field. Garner racing back, has it go over his head, and it goes up against the wall. 2 bags. He's going for 3 bags. He's got it standing up. That is a triple.
And on cue.
Yeah, he heard us talking, didn't he?
Your comment about his power was put on display with just a shot to straight center field. So we take another look at it. Just a nice swing, outstretched arms, straight away, and you can see over his head and all the way to the wall. That's 395 feet away to the base of that fence. Very well hit ball by Flowers, and he did not take it for granted. He stayed on his horse and had a pretty easy triple.
Infield in, and the first pitch fouled off by Hurdle. He grounded out to short his first time. Well, that's out of virtually every high school park in the state.
I would say you're right.
The 0-1. Breaking ball hit deep to left and really well struck. Mayhall going back to the warning track, gets some help from the wind, makes the catch. Tagging and heading to the plate is Flowers. It's a 2-0 game.
I'll be honest, Mike, when that ball left the bat, I thought it was out of here. And again, for the second time in this game, the wind has absolutely knocked a ball down that had a chance to get out of here.
So Harding takes a 2-0 lead, and it brings up Beasley with nobody aboard and 2 down. Hit on the ground right side, under the outstretched glove of Fenley, into right field for a base knock. So unfortunately for USJ, Chip, some good hitting in the inning for Harding.
It is, and you've had 2 really hard hit balls. That one not as hard hit, but had eyes, and you know, you get a fly ball out at the right time and a guy at third base, and voila, you have a run.
This is Eccles, the center fielder, hits it right back up the middle, line drive, base hit. Beasley stops at second, and so first and second with 1 out. 3 hits in the inning and a run already plated as Brown, who singled last inning, comes to the dish.
You've got 1, 2, 3, 4 very hard hit balls. Whether they're base hits or not, the way that Chase Hensley is being tagged right now is a bit concerning if you're USJ.
He starts Brown off with a curveball that he takes for a strike, and I think that's going to be a big key right here. If Hensley's fastball is not fooling them, he's got to really work the curve. Goes to it again. It's fouled off quickly, 0-2. And that's what he's got to do. Hensley has just got to find a way to hang in there and hope his offense gets going. Outfield straightaway and pretty deep for the left fielder Brown. Line to right, right at Browse, and he makes the catch. That again was a hard hit ball. 1 run, 3 hits, no errors, 2 left. And if you're USJ, you're just pleased that there wasn't more damage. 2-0 Harding Academy after 2.5, as USJ ready to send up 9-1-2 in their order. And they got to get something going pretty soon, because not just do they need runs, and we're in the 3rd inning of a 7-inning game, but they just got to get something going. You don't feel it right now for the Bruins, and they've got to get that feel back in the attack.
And we look at this shot we have right here, which I love these 2 cameras we have on each dugout. It kind of gives you a feel of the emotion and the body language of what you're seeing with both of these teams. And for USJ, Coach Brad Dyers, his staff, and these players, and you look on the other side, Coach Al Stevens and the Harding Academy Ball Club, you see a little more jumping around over there, a little more pep in their step. And again, it goes back to that momentum factor that we talked about. And this Harding Academy team, I mean, their outlook has really, really changed since this day began, when they found themselves in a 2-0 hole. And then since that time, they have outscored USJ, what, 14-0?
Yeah, in a 2-0 hole, but to take it even further, knowing that they're starting the day with an 8th grader on the mound.
Right.
Now, not a normal 8th grader. If you don't know the name Jake Criswell,
you will.
You will, because he is very special. But let's face it, you know, you go into that game, USJ, you're saying we're facing the 8th grader. If you're Harding, you say we're throwing the 8th grader. You kind of feel like the advantage is with USJ, and then Harding wins with him, and he throws great. Suddenly, everything is just sort of flipped around mentally.
It has, and USJ has kind of played on their heels ever since.
Here's Orr, the shortstop. Austin 1 for 2 in that first game. By the way, write the Criswell name down wherever you are. Especially if you're a college coach watching this. Going to be 4 years you're going to have to wait, but wow, he was super. Chop back toward the mound. Looked like it was off his ankle. Ward throws. Do they get him? No. Infield hit for Ward.
I'd be interested to see this, whether or not the throw got there in time or whether he had a little trouble finding the bag with his foot. But see, it was the Baltimore chop. But let's look at first base rather. Where is that foot?
I think never had his foot on the bag, which is why he was safe.
The throw beat him. They're going to give him an infield hit on that, although a good play would have made it.
Mayhall bunting, and the drag bunt would have worked, but it hit the edge of the grass and kissed into foul territory. And so it'll just be a foul ball, and the count is 0-1.
I'm not sure.
That's a great point. I think the ball may have hit off of his foot.
That's a foul ball.
Should have been, but it's hard to see in live action sometimes. But you're absolutely right. The first baseman, Harford, was unable to get back to the bag and get his foot there. Very astute. Runner goes back up the middle, slow chopper, tries to tag him. Did Hurdle get him?
Yes.
Yes, he did. Hurdle tagged him as he went across, got Orr, and then is able to throw out Mayhall, one of the fastest of the Bruins. That is a really impressive 6-3 double play.
And the first reaction was when Ward falls down on his follow-through, you're going, oh, no, that's going to get through. Right there, he tried to come back, but look at this. Tag, throw, double play.
The calm he showed in doing such, because sometimes you get in such a hurry to make the tag, but he just sort of popped the glove out there and acted like it was the easiest thing known to man. 2 down. And the beat goes on for Harding Academy, Chip.
It really does. And again, you know, how do you start? How do you stop momentum? And right now, in basketball terms, it is bouncing their way.
Harden lines it towards the Harding dugout. Foul ball, count 1-1. 2-0 the score, bottom of the third. Battleground Academy has already claimed a state championship today. Harding trying to join them. Harden rips it to right field. That's a base knock. And boy, that makes Brad Dyer more disappointed, because if his runner Orr is not tagged out there, it's probably a 2-1 game right now.
And you start to feel a little better about yourself if that happens.
But here's Garner, and Garner can get this thing evened up in a hurry. He has that kind of ability. Harden at first with 2 down. Ward throws over just to keep him close. Matheny waits in the on-deck circle. If a rally were to start, Hensley's in the hole, so this is the part of the order where USJ could get something going. That's over the head of Garner for ball 1.
That's one of the interesting things about high school baseball. You have guys who have good control, but one pitch might get away, and when it gets away, it really gets away, and that was a perfect example of that.
That one just spun out of his hand. The 1-0. Outside 2-0. Ward has not spent a lot of time having to work out of the stretch. And so you know the Bruins would like to tax him a little bit more. The pitch, way inside, 3-0. And so he's lost the range right here. Do you think about letting a hitter like Garner go right here?
Well, you know, he is one of the few guys I think you would give a green light, but in general, you're going to make him throw until he throws a strike, which he was not able to do. And Garner will take first on the walk, and that'll bring Harding head coach Al Stevens out to the mound.
And they're going to have a little conversation about something mechanically as Matheny gets ready to step in there. And Matheny is a dangerous guy. We mentioned Hensley would be next, and he's another dangerous guy. How far do they go with Ward, too? Because due to that first game and due to the fact that it went 5 innings, we mentioned they do have some pitching options. We're in the third. And do you think about the quick hook if that becomes the case?
Well, this is one, you know, when you get to this game, everybody's available, you know, unless they're at that 10 inning mark. So, I mean, as a head coach, nobody knows their team better than the head coach, and you've got to trust. He's got to trust his gut, trust his head, know his personnel, and just go with his instincts.
Matheny strides in. Ward deals. Pitch is high. Ward's certainly not in that kind of trouble yet, but a big hit, and he might be. And that's what University School of Jackson is looking for. They're looking for that big hit.
They want to apply some pressure.
Fouled off right back our way, just to the right. Chip unable to make a play.
It was 2 windows over. Not nearly the play that you made earlier today.
Thank you. I have received some text messages about that.
It may be on SportsCenter tonight. Top 10 play.
I'm looking forward to that. In the dirt, 2-1. Matheny with the outfield deep and straight away. Left fielder Brown is really deep. The 2-1. Got a little bit of it, 2-2. Let me ask you, wind-wise, with your home field knowledge here, we see how the wind affects balls to left field and center field, but we haven't seen a shot to right at any point. How would the wind play going that way?
The wind typically will push it out toward right, and you have a lot more balls, especially later in the season. Early in the year, they get knocked down to right. Later in the year, they get pushed out.
That ball's hit right back up the middle. Base hit. Here comes the runner. He's digging for the plate, and he is in there. Ball gets away, and the runners will advance an extra base. So able to score is Hardin. Garner takes third, and Matheny is at second. We've got a 2-1 game, and you'll see that the shortstop, Hurdle, just not able to get there.
Eccles here had to make a decision. He tries to come home with it, and that throw, it bounced up there. That'll be an E8, and it will allow the extra base, put runners at second and third instead of first and second, and it's also going to be the end of the day for Jackson Ward on the mound.
Jackson Ward is done, and so this will bring into the game. Let's see, it looks as though they're going to go with, is this Nathan Stanford? It is. Nathan Stanford, who pitched them back into contention in this tournament earlier, and it was their win over Tipton Rosemark yesterday at Laverne High School. Let me make sure that's 11. It is, isn't it? Yep. Yep. Side-wheeling righty, 7 innings, 3 hits, no walks, 9 strikeouts. Only faced 27 batters. So here he is.
A Submariner.
Yep, ready to do the work, and a good candidate in this situation against the right-handed hitting Hensley, who is a very tough hitter with 2 ducks on the pond. And we mentioned, and you might have seemed premature about how long would you wait around understanding that it's the third inning of a 7-inning game, and we just see the head coach Al Stevens just not wait at all.
Yeah, there he is, and he obviously a look of concern on his face, but again, nobody knows his team better than he does. He's seen every one of his pitchers pitch day in, day out. He has a good feel on when he needed to make a change, and right there he thought that Nathan Stanford was the guy he needed to bring in, and the style that Kent Tekulve submarine style certainly now gives him an opportunity to throw the USJ hitters off again, not necessarily with a righty-lefty, but with a sense of style.
He has 3 innings that he can work, so he will not be able to finish it. He will not be the final pitcher of the day for Harding. Here's Hensley in a big situation, trying to help himself. Runners second and third, 2 down. All of this uprising come with 2 out. Hensley takes a strike. After a double play, the shortstop Hurdle tagging Orr and then throwing out Mayhall, single to Hardin, walk to Garner, single to Matheny. The pitch. That one stays high. Count is 1-1. Ward goes 2 2/3, 4 hits, a couple of walks. His run still to be determined. Swing and a miss. 1-2. USJ's first run since the first inning of game 1 nearly 6 hours ago was the last time they scored. Outside.
You see Stanford with that sidearm action and nearly submarine action. For right-handed hitters, that ball looks like it's hittable. Then all of a sudden when it gets to the plate, it's a foot outside, and you tend to chase these guys.
Fouled off as Hensley barely stays alive. Well,
and he brought it inside there.
The key, too, Stanford is probably, what, 6'3", 6'4"?
Yes.
Falls off the table. And when you're that tall and you release it in that way, it looks like you're about 5 feet in front of the plate when you let it go. The 2-2. Hensley stays on it, tries to go to right field, and drives it out of play. He had the right idea there.
He did, and you're right. That the reaction time and that perception, he's no closer to the plate, letting that ball go than Ward was. But that perception is that it's right on you, and you've got to make a decision.
Breaking ball inside, gets away from the catcher. Here comes the tying run, Garner, and moving to third base is going to be Matheny. Actually, they have run for Matheny, but it's Matheny's spot. And so taking third base on the play for USJ is Logan Carey. This should be a pass ball, I believe.
That's my thought originally. Yeah, I think that should be a pass ball, but it went right off the top of the – I think they're still making that scoring decision.
Game now tied at 2. Hensley fouls it off. A base hit here, and his team takes the lead. And you could feel the USJ side come to life for the first time in a long time. We got a ball game.
And look down the front of that dugout. There's heads bobbing.
Hensley drives it down the right field line. It's foul, but he is working the pitcher, which is what you want to do. The more looks you get at this guy, the more comfortable you get.
And if somebody can get a hit, then the next guy feels a little more confident going up there.
Well, it's now an 8-pitch at bat. You love these. Runner at third, Carey. The pitch. Hit him. So Hensley does the hard work and gets to first base the hard way. Hit by pitch. First and third. 2 out. And here's Hughes.
Yeah, all of this has happened with 2 outs in this inning. It was an infield hit, then a double play, and so 2 outs and nobody on, and all of a sudden USJ has been able to manufacture a couple of runs and feel like they have more to go. The go-ahead run only 90 feet away.
Tinker is the runner at first, as Hensley, the pitcher, will take a seat. So 2 pinch runners on at the corners for Hughes. Hughes singled his last time. High. Stanford upstairs. Stanford just a junior. A lot of good juniors in this game. The 1-0. Outside, catcher Eskew tried to pull it in to no avail.
And I think he just asked exactly where was it.
Well, you don't ask loud if you're the catcher. The 2-0. Taking all the way, it's a strike.
Yeah, USJ is, they think they got it for a couple of innings. We're going up there first pitch hitting. And, you have to give Coach Brad Dyer some credit. He told him, hey, take some pitches, make them work for it. And it's paying off for him.
3-1. Well, remember, this guy threw yesterday. And for a lot of side wheelers, that makes you more effective the next day. But
the looser you get, the more you are.
Well,
same for knuckleballers, kind of.
More that ball dances, but at the same time, there can be some arm strength. That's high for ball 4. So Hughes works a walk, and now the bases are full of Bruins. Dyer going to have a conversation with Browse. They're going to have a little bit of a discussion on how you approach this at-bat. He steps in from the left side, which means he's going to get a really good look at Stanford. And if you can, the approach here is generally try to go the opposite way with it. Pitch is high and out. For USJ, a walk also works that would give them the lead. 2 runs, 5 hits, an error on Harding Academy. 2-4-0 for USJ. That's a strike. 1-1. Nobody loosening in either bullpen as we play in the bottom of the 3rd.
Playing pretty shallow in center field.
Pitch. Inside corner, it's called a strike. 1-2.
Maybe you see in center field, Eccles not nearly close to that 395 sign. Everywhere else pretty normal.
The pitch. High. 2-2. Stanford trying to record his first out. Finley would be the next hitter. Rouse lines it left, nearly gets his head coach. Foul ball.
Well, Al Stevens at the top step. You wonder what's going through his mind. How long is he going to hang in here?
Going to get to hang for a while. Big strikeout right there as Stanford gets his team out of it. Ward goes 2 2/3 and gives up 2 runs on 3 hits in that inning. After 3, we're knotted at 2. So Chip Walters, we have a 4-inning game. That's what it comes down to now.
It does, and I think when you're, I think USJ feels like, we talk about momentum an awful lot and how things change. Harding Academy had gone through a stretch, like we said, since the first inning of Game 1, having outscored USJ 14-0, and it's a minor victory right there just to get that halted and get 2 runs on the board. Whether that tied the game or not, that's a bonus. Just to get something going and prove to yourself again that you have some offensive ability, I think means the world to USJ, and we're going to have a fight right down to the final wire in this one, I think.
I'd say you're right. Hey, remind you, too, you can purchase a DVD copy of all of the Spring Fling Championship coverage by going to TSSAA-network.com and looking for the green Buy Now button. So take advantage of that for a DVD. Hartford will lead it off. Harford, his first time, reached on a fielder's choice and scored the first run of the game for Harding Academy. Hensley starts him off with a curveball that stays outside. Just nerve-wracking for all the parents here. That's a strike. You've been chasing a lot of baseball all spring with your kids, and now it comes down to the final few innings of the championship game. Hit in the air to center field. Garner under it, gloves it, one gone. You got to think for them, for the guys playing, there's pressure. For the folks, oh, it's awful.
At least the guys, they have a release and that actually play in the game, and it's much worse on the fans.
Yep. Ward, who started the game as the pitcher, stays on in the designated hitter role. And he's taken a couple of strikes, and you can sort of see the pep in Hensley right now.
Yeah, he has a different body language on the mound right now as well. He's carrying himself a little different.
That's smacked to deep center field. Garner racing back, going to have room. Two good-looking center fielders in this game between Eccles for Harding Academy and Garner. Wow, that was pretty.
I would say you look at the two teams you have in each of the final games of the 5 championship games, every one of those teams is going to have a good center fielder. You're going to be good up the middle at short and second, and all of them will have good catchers.
Eskew going to get that one through for what should be a base hit. So Eskew, who struck out his first time, a 2-out single, maybe to start a rally. They will run for him. Looks like they're going to send Matthew Hallman out.
Talked about the pressure on players. You and I both get to deal with football teams in the fall and their respective groups of fans. I've always been under the impression that the players, you know, they get so busy, let's say after a bad game or something, the players are right back at work. The fans are the ones who stew about it for 7 days.
Oh, yeah. Swinging a foul ball by Stanford, who is hitting for himself here.
But for these moms and dads here today, it's pitch by pitch.
It's a lot of fast food hamburgers and a lot of hotel rooms and a lot of late nights and telling people I'm not going to be back to work tomorrow. You'll have to cover for me there. Curveball stays, right in there. All right.
And on top of that, you know, most of these kids, as soon as this state championship and spring fling is over, they're going to be playing travel ball this summer.
That's right. The 0-2. Hensley strikes him out. So a hit, a man left, but no runs. We're halfway home in this state championship game, Division II Class A. Harding Academy and USJ tied at 2.
Well, another look at the final pitch to end the inning. Just off the outside part of the plate, Hensley put it in a spot that was almost unhittable, and you can really feel USJ has the worm turned toward their side of the field. And again, we have that great shot of the dugouts. There's a look at USJ. We'll get a look at Harding Academy's dugout in just a minute. But hey, over in the USJ dugout, they were a little tight earlier. Now they're kind of loosey-goosey. They feel good. They can't wait to get to the bat rack, and let's get up to the plate.
Let's reset the defense here a little bit for you. Beasley, let's see, Beasley has moved to second base, I believe. We're going to have to check this fully. The starting pitcher, Ward, having to move him around here with Stanford because they did not start off with a DH. And so Ward moves to left. I think it's Brown to third and Beasley to second. That's going to be the case. They make all those moves. Stewart is lifted, and the man who was hitting in his spot right there was Stanford. So I hope that all made total sense. How'd we do?
We'll see.
Somebody taking a calculus exam ought to be able to stay with that.
We talked about this before it started. Neither team employed the designated hitter, so it was pure National League Baseball today.
Yeah.
So double switches and everything are in order today.
That's exactly right. Here's Finley. Peyton Finley flied out to right his first time against Stanford. Takes on 1-0. Sun has been out all day. No sign of rain anywhere in the forecast. That's a strike. Unless it's a pop-up something or other, I don't think we're going to see rain for another several days. And talking about tomorrow, Chip, maybe 10 degrees warmer than today.
Very well could be. I mean, we're talking mid to upper 90s, but this is the unofficial start of summer, the Memorial Day weekend. And I'll tell you, it's going to be great for folks who want to get outside.
Chopper up the middle. Shortstop Hurdle waits on it, throws him out. Plays with such patience, Hurdle. Just a junior. Mentioned a lot of these names. Eccles, the center fielder, a junior. Hurdle, a junior. The guy pitching right now, Stanford, a junior. Parks Flowers, the right fielder, a junior. And on the other side, a bunch of juniors too. Tyler Harden, a junior. Hensley, a junior. Garner, a junior. Pitch in there for a strike to Orr. So we could easily see both of these teams right back here a year from now. The 0-1. Ripped into right field. That's a base knock. Orr is 2 out of 2 in this game. And the top of the order in Mayhall set to go for USJ, trying to find a way to take the lead. Harding Academy led 2-0 after 2.5. USJ put up 2 runs in the bottom of the third. Swing and a miss. Stanford working hard.
The psychology of sports, and you know, what would that do to the psyche of USJ if they are able to manufacture a run this inning?
I don't know if they'd be able to stand it. They were so excited when they knotted the count, and I say that in a good way. I mean, they are in a totally different place than they were 15 minutes ago. That appears low. The count is 2-1. Harden waits to go next. Harden's the guy who started the rally. Not much of a lead for Orr. Ball hit to second. Beasley fumbles it, throws, doesn't get him. E4. So the change at second base as Beasley thinking about turning 2, something he does not normally do. And that was a tailor-made double play ball, Chip.
And, you know, I think he was looking to see if his shortstop was covering second and took his eye off the ball for just a minute. And that could play a very pivotal role in this game. We'll see how this inning plays out.
Harden is there.
I mean, you had a double play ball to be out of the inning and back at the plate. I mean, that could drastically change what happens here.
The pitch. Nearly hit him. 2-0. Well, they say you can never assume the double play from a scoring standpoint, but from a realistic standpoint at times you certainly can.
As broadcasters, we have that right.
That's right. The 2-0. On the corner, Stanford rallies. Harden looking for something good to hit. Left fielder Ward is very shallow. Inner half, 2-2. At first base, Mayhall. At second base, Orr. At the dish, Harden. The pitch. Harden hits it on the ground right side and gets through. They're waving the runner home. Here's the throw. Does Orr get there? He does indeed. Mayhall takes third. Ball gets away. Mayhall racing for the plate. It's going to be close. He's safe as SQ drops the ball. Taking second base on the play is Harden. And just like that, it's no longer tied. It's 4 for USJ, 2 for Harding Academy. Aggressive base running. Dyer waving him all the way, putting the pressure on Chip.
When they had the lead already with the first run, so you want to force the defense to make a play. And right there, they did that, and they weren't able to do it. Here's another look at it. You see the base hit into left field. Runners are going. There's going to be a play at the plate. The throw home is going to be not in time. It gets away, kicks off the heel. You had a good backup and a nice flip to the plate, just couldn't handle it.
See how they'll score it. There is an error on the play. We'll have to check on whom that error will be charged. But a couple of misplays in the inning have opened the door for USJ. And it's the irony of baseball. In game one, USJ gets off to the 2-0 lead, but they can't capitalize on their opportunities to make that lead bigger. And they end up losing that ball game. In this situation, Harding with some mistakes opening the door for USJ, and USJ has walked through. Pitch to Garner outside. Runner at second. Again, still just 1 out in the inning.
And you go back, what appeared to be a double play ball that could have ended the inning has instead opened the door.
Garner hits it into shallow center. It's going to drop for a base hit. They juggle the ball, sending the runner. Here's the throw to the plate. It is not in time. Ball gets away, and Garner takes second. And so Harden has scored a run. It's 5-2. That's a good call by you. That was nothing but trouble, Chip.
It appeared, I mean, as soon as it left the bat, it looked like it was going into no man's land.
It just kind of got out there and died. And again, when Dyer saw the juggle, he sent the runner. And now Matheny comes up again in a big situation. His team up 3. Stanford got to be feeling like he's somewhat snake bit in this situation, Chip. Pitches outside, 1-0. Matheny with a single his last time to drive in a run. The first run. Stanford's pitch, chopped foul. Count 1-1. We're in the bottom of the 4th. 5 runs, 7 hits, no errors for USJ. 2, 6, and 3 for Harding Academy. Matheny, the catcher, hitting in the cleanup spot. Hensley behind him, looking for his chance. On the corner for a strike. 1-2. Looks like the wind's picked up out to center field. On this hot day in Murfreesboro. Pitch outside. Trying to get out of this with much more damage. Harding Academy, top of the order, due up for the Lions in the 5th inning. They want to make sure they don't fall any further behind. On the corner for strike 3. So Matheny strikes out looking. And here's the pitcher, Hensley. Ground out to short, hit by pitch. 0 for 1. But he's got a chance to complete a Cinderella comeback if he can pitch his team to a state championship. Takes low. 1-0 the count. Stanford winds and fires. That's high and out. So now Garner able to get a pretty safe lead. Stanford doesn't really have a move to second. Hensley ropes it into left field for a base hit. They're waving Garner. Ward's throw to the plate is cut off. It's 6-2 as Hensley helps himself.
Well, the worm is turned again, and big time in the situation of USJ, and they now have a 4-run lead. And you know, when you're sitting in the seats we're in, you're thinking, okay, 4-run lead, they only have to get 9 defensive outs. But I'm telling you that those outs when you're trying to get number 19, 20, and 21 in the 7th, they are awfully tough.
Going to have to make a pitching change now. Al Stevens going to make a move, and we'll see which way he goes, as Stanford will check out. And they're going to send into the ball game at this point Austin Stewart at second. So I'm guessing Beasley is going to come in to pitch. Beasley closed out a win yesterday, and so they are going to bring him on.
He changed gloves, yep.
He has 5 wins on the season. So Stewart at second, and they just understand that, you know, quite frankly, they got to stop the bleeding right now.
Yeah, you're at a point where you know you've got to take some chances. It's, you know, you can't worry about, you know, are you going to get beat 4 runs or 8 runs? You know, you've got to take the chance that gives you an opportunity to get back in this game, and that's what they have to do right now. And Harding Academy, you know, you see them kind of hands on their haunches right now, and again, you talk about body language, it says an awful lot.
Well, what it comes down to is they understand they've got to score 4 runs the rest of the way. They don't want to make that they have to score 5 runs or they have to score 6 runs. Yeah, they got to stop it right now.
Yeah, don't make your job any harder than it already is.
So Beasley moves to the mound. Stewart is in the game at second base. And the pinch runner will be Tinker, the courtesy runner for the pitcher, which I think is a good rule that they've made, in that I think it speeds up the game. Not only, you know, for the pitcher and the catcher, but means the catcher is able to come back and get the gear on, and the pitcher is able to be ready to go back out. It's a good thing.
Yep, and you also, with that as well, you know, a lot of times you'll see who are those pinch runners. They're maybe a freshman kid who doesn't play an awful lot in a position, but it gives him a chance to be in the game, stay in the game, and keeps your bench in the game.
Well, just the experience of getting on the field as a young player is a special thing.
Not to mention in a state title game.
Absolutely. To say you played for a state championship, you contributed, maybe you scored a run, what a big deal. Here's Hughes with a runner at first and Beasley on the mound. Breaking ball, strike. Logan Hughes, the second baseman, looking to keep this 4th inning alive for USJ. A 4th inning where they have been able to score 4 runs, and he does as he hits it down the left field line, but only hard enough to be a single. So first and second, and this is going to give a chance to Ben Browse.
Hitting is contagious, and right there, you know, there was, even though a change at the mound, he was able to stick it down the third baseline.
There's a strike. They now have 9 hits to the Bruins, 8 of those hits in the last 2 innings.
And 5 this inning. Yep.
Now, they had nothing going for quite some time today, but it is certainly going now. Ruled high, count 1-1. Bross flied out to left and struck out. So he's 0 for 2. On the day, 1 for 4. Takes a strike there, 1-2. The USJ side very excited. They're starting to smell it. The pitch. Hit into left field, down the line. Ward coming over, makes a diving grab. Yes, great catch. Had to wait and show it to the umpire that he caught it. But Jackson Ward with an outstanding play to end the inning. And maybe that's the play that ignites Harding Academy to get it going again. We're through 4 innings. Division II Class AA State Championship game. University School of Jackson 6, Harding Academy 2. Top of the order for Harding Academy as we play in the top of the 5th inning. Chase Hensley has scattered 6 hits to this point and has had some good defense behind him as he tries to keep it going. Flowers hits it high in the air to deep left center. Racing back and making the grab, tripping over his own man. That's Mayhall. Mayhall is able to haul it in. He and Garner got hung up, but Mayhall stayed with it all the way. And if you saw Mayhall play football and you saw him catch one in traffic, which we had the pleasure of doing last December, you're not surprised that he held on. Flowers hit it a ton, but Mayhall had a great jump on it. He caught it. And that is nothing but a loud out.
Need a traffic cop out there.
Well, you more or less have 2 center fielders. Hurdle's the hitter now. Mayhall has that ability, and Garner does too. And I think that's more a good thing than a bad thing. Swing and a miss, 0-2.
Hey, look at Matheny's chest protector back there. We'll get another look at it from the front in a minute. The catcher's chest protectors are starting to look more and more like hockey goalies back there. He almost looks like a skeleton. Look at that.
I like it.
Yeah.
But why wouldn't you? You got a chance to have a look. I'm sure those companies that produce them like that look. Curveball, ooh, just missed. Count is 2-2.
But can you imagine 95-degree day? Look at that from the top down. Mask, helmet, chest protector, shin guards.
Popped him up. Foul territory. Third baseman Harden in the coach's box makes the grab. 2 up, 2 down. You know, that stuff is certainly a lot more aerodynamic and a lot cooler than it was
in our
20,
day.
30 years ago, yeah. Beasley, the pitcher, stepping in. 2 outs, nobody aboard. Hensley starts him with a breaking ball for a strike.
And the advancements that have been made in lightweight materials and the strength that they are, you know, have made a huge difference. And, you know, and in your business, the new rules that are out now with thigh and knee pads.
I think it's a great rule.
It's a great rule, and I don't think it'll make as big a difference as maybe some of the players might think because of what they've been able to do with such much lighter weight and stronger materials.
The 0-2. Barely missed there. It's 1-2. I think it's absolutely a good rule. If it does the same thing to everybody, what does it matter?
Exactly.
And just like these catchers better protected, good for them. Chopper up the middle, off the glove of Hensley. Coming on Orr, going to have a play, but he's a little late. So that's a base hit. And Eccles going to get a chance. Eccles 1 for 2 with a ground out to second and a single. Riley Eccles trying to get him going here. Pinch runner going to come on. And that's Criswell. Pitch. Strike. Criswell, who pitched the first game, has already run in this game. He's running again. Sure, Beasley not crazy about that. Beasley's a good athlete, likes to run.
There's a pretty curveball there.
Yep.
Speaking of rule changes, one that has happened in high school baseball that this year is the new construction of the bats.
The BB core.
Yes.
Hit to right. Bross is under it, makes the grab. I know, as dad of a middle school player, I had to buy a BB Core bat. Hello.
They like those, don't
they? Yes, they do. No runs, one hit, no errors, one man left on base. Through 4.5, it's USJ 6, Harding Academy 2. But I like the rule there too, because I was around college baseball in the late 90s.
That's made such a difference in the safety of the game.
Absolutely.
and just looking here,
it had gotten out of control,
right?
Too.
And college baseball is now a different game. The emphasis is back on pitching. The emphasis is on making a play, not just overpowering somebody. That's happening again in high school baseball with this change to the BB Core bats. Maurice Patton had a terrific article in the Tennessean this week about the production levels of different teams and how home runs are down, but sometimes run scoring may be up simply because, they're putting a lot of that on this change in the bat composition. But also one that I think you're going to see before too long that the high schools will follow college with will be the base coaches wearing helmets. That has not come into high school yet, but, you heard a lot of college coaches grousing about it when the rule was made, but now after a couple of weeks, nobody ever noticed anymore. You're going to look just as cool in the first or third base coaching bag, but you're going to be a little safer.
Wear some better sunglasses, right?
That's right.
Yeah,
exactly.
You look a little sharper with that, but you're right. I mean, anything that can be done like that. I mean, when you're talking about the knee pads and the thigh pads in football, the better equipment for catchers in baseball, the BB Core bats, the game's still the game. It doesn't change the game.
You still have to pitch, throw, catch, and hit.
Here's Finley. He leads it off against Beasley as we go to the bottom of the 5th. USJ would like to extend their advantage, but they have the luxury. They can start counting outs now. They need 6 more outs to win a state championship. They won it in 99, 2001, and 2002. Harding Academy looking for their second in 5 years. Pitch is outside, it's 1-2. Orr is next, and then Mayhall. Beasley struck him out. So Orr, who has a couple of singles and has quietly had a really nice game, gets back in there. Orr bunting towards third. Pitcher fields, throws, didn't get him, ball gets away. Orr on his way to second. And he is going to be in scoring position. You could almost score that a hit. Looked like he might beat it. I'd say you could go hit and error, and looks like that may be what they've done.
I think it's exactly what the call you make. It is the 4th error, and that's going to be an E1 with a throw on the pitcher and an infield hit.
And Orr is 3 for 3. Here's Mayhall trying to add some distance between the two teams. Takes a strike.
Hey, Coach Brad Dyers, since they got this game tied at 2, his whole philosophy has changed. He has now, every chance he gets with this lead, trying to apply pressure every opportunity that's out there.
Mayhall in the hole, 0-2. You're exactly right.
And you can do that with a lead. Every runner he has a chance to send, he does it, forces the defense to make a play.
Mayhall takes it in the dirt. 1-2. Exactly right. You force them to make the accurate throw, to hit the cutoff man, to apply the tag cleanly. Mayhall fouls it off. There's Brad Dyer looking to win that state championship. And excited by this team, which has given him 33 wins already this year. Win number 34 would be the sweetest, but still work to be done. Mayhall late on that one, fouls it out of play. Mentioned Mayhall in football. He played in Mickey Marley's offense sort of a wing back, running back, unbelievable number of yards on the year. And he ropes that one to left center. That's going to get the runner home and then some. On his way to second, Mayhall, it's 7-2. And he is one of the gentlemen today who does not have the luxury of thinking about next year. He's a senior. He wants the moment to be right now, and a hit like that shows he means it.
It really does. Just a beautiful piece of hitting by Mayhall. As you look and see, compact swing, hits it into the gap between left and center.
Harden takes outside. 7-2 the score. Bottom of the fifth. It's almost like the first game in reverse. Swing and a miss. USJ this morning let a 2-0 lead get away. And Brad Dyer would probably tell you they should have been ahead 5 or 6-0.
They kind of ran themselves out into some trouble.
And instead they end up losing 12-2. Here, they're behind 2-0 in the third, and then they rally. 2-1 the count. That's on the corner for a strike. Tomorrow, we've got championship games in Class A, AA, and AAA in Division I. 11 Central, 2 Central, 5 Central. Breaking ball is in there for a strike, called strike 3 as Beasley gets his man. 2 down for Garner.
One thing we know, there will be a new AAA champion.
Kind of hard to believe.
It is hard to believe. But what a run by the Farragut Admirals.
They've got something good going there, just not quite good enough this year. Had another good team. Pitch to Garner's low, 1-0. But I think when you look at how that AAA bracket has unfolded, you see it was almost like AAA in basketball on the boys' side where 4 or 5 teams could legitimately win it. There's a strike. You love it when you get in tournament play and you've got a bunch of capable teams. And that's what's happened in baseball in Class AAA, really in the other 2 divisions as well. It's unfolded interestingly. Outside.
I'll tell you, here in the mid-state in this area, you know, we were very fortunate. In Murfreesboro, you had some great teams in Riverdale, Siegel, Oakland, Blackman, all very good this year. And in the same region with Tullahoma, Columbia, team that was in the state title game a year ago. So we were treated in this area and fortunate to get to watch some great teams.
The 3-1. Ripped into right field. Coming on to make a sliding grab and making that catch is Flowers. Outstanding effort. Wasn't hit as well as we initially thought, and Flowers had to come get it, but he does. Another run for the Bruins after 5. 7 for USJ, 2 for Harding Academy. And we head to the 6th with Hensley back out to the mound. They know they have Gardner available as well. But look at this grab. Let's take one more look at this defensive play.
We have seen some leather being shown around in the outfield today.
Did a nice job. Got to show it to that umpire. When you make a catch like that, you got to show it to everybody.
That's why the cameras are here.
That's exactly right.
Mike was able to do that in the first game. Do we have that too? Can we have another look at that?
No.
Without a glove.
They don't have that available, I'm sure.
No, maybe not today, but look at that. What a pretty picture. Look at that. You see down over the right field wall the football practice field. And look at all those little, every school that's in the track meet has their own 10x10 tent. You can see in the distance the Dean Hayes Track Stadium packed full over there. Action going on the track. This is what Spring Fling was about. The city of Murfreesboro made a great investment to upgrading Reese Smith Field, building the Dean Hayes Track and Soccer Stadium, not only with Middle Tennessee athletics in mind, but also hosting this premier event of the TSSAA.
Paid off. Is paying off, I
Yes.
think is better said.
And you look at the Richard Siegel Soccer Complex out on the north side of town, unparalleled in the state.
Brown is the hitter. Started the game in left field at Brown and then moved to third base. Hensley working on him, throws a strike, count even at a ball and a strike.
The one thing about the state baseball tournament, it's not just here at MTSU. It's Riverdale, Oakland, Siegel, Blackman, Smyrna, and Laverne all hosting games.
Wilson Central
also in on that.
Yep. And what a beautiful school that is.
Yeah.
It's fantastic. If you've been down 840 and had a chance to see that right before you reach I-40.
Hey,
One of the prettiest campuses anywhere. Pitch. Ball hit in the air to center field. Garner draws a beat and pulls it in. One down.
Go to a basketball game at Wilson Central and you think, now where am I? Because you're out at the concession stand and you're watching the game on a TV monitor out in the lobby.
It's a different era. Pitches inside as Harford, the first baseman, is the hitter. Hensley, 5 1/3 innings, 7 hits, 2 runs allowed. And he's posted 3 strikeouts. Pitch is low and out. I don't believe, and I'm going to check this, and you always say this, and he hasn't walked anybody, which is a big deal.
Well, Willie and I in the first game, we were kind of playing around, not trying to mention directly that there was a no-hitter going on deep into that ball game.
Yep. I think I may have jinxed him here as he has just walked his first man. That one's on me, Chase. I apologize. Ward, the left fielder, on his way up. Getting activity in the Harding bullpen. Looks like they're going to get Riley Eccles throwing. He started the game earlier in this tournament.
That's exactly who it is, number 7, Eccles.
Ward has an RBI double and flied out to center. Runner at first. Harford, you wouldn't think he's going anywhere down 5 in the 6th. There's a strike. But Hensley just plowing along. Eskew, the catcher, would be next, barring a double play. 2-1. Is Hensley fatiguing, Chip?
That ball was right under the chin, and it looks like, he's not snapping it off like he was.
Ball hit to right. Bross headed back, makes the catch. Runner not going to tag. And so 2 down.
Little flare for the dramatic out in right field.
Yeah, he kind of got his feet caught just a little bit.
He was trying to make that switch and turn his body, and the feet weren't going with it at the same time.
Nope. Eskew is the hitter. Runner at first.
USJ's magic number right now is 4.
Ripped down the left field line. That's a fair ball. Into the corner. Harford going to be stopped at third. They don't have their fleetest guys on the base paths right now, so they're going to be smart and be careful because they need 5 runs. Here comes a pinch runner for Eskew. It's going to be Hallman. And Stewart, who's 0 for 1 in this game, is going to come to the dish. And they need a hit out of him here, or they need him to reach base and keep it alive. One of the two. Hensley firing, a strike. Hensley trying to pitch out of trouble.
Reaching down, trying to find what he's got.
That's a breaking ball for a strike. Quickly 0-2. Austin Stewart, the sophomore, under the gun now.
Come at him or go away.
Went for the corner.
Tried to get him to fish a little, didn't he?
Matheny thought he had it. 1-2. Hensley from the stretch. Throws a breaking ball. Stewart does a nice job to foul it off and stay alive.
Well, he did, because they did exactly what I thought Hensley was going to do, is come back inside on him, tried to saw him off, but he did a very good job of being able to get some part of the bat on it and foul it away.
Hensley throws another 1-2. This ball is popped in the air third base way. Harden is under it. He's got it. USJ 3 outs away from a state championship as we go to the bottom of the 6th. Remains 7-2, and Beasley headed back out to the mound. They're not going to make the change to Eccles, but they have him ready in case Beasley can't go much further.
These two teams, after 5.5 innings, each team with, well, 8 runners left on base or 7 left on base for Harding Academy, 8 left on for USJ. And inevitably, when you are a head coach or a fan, you'll go back and try to look, where were the missed opportunities? You know, these two teams have done a pretty good job of maxing out their opportunities. One more hit right there would have made some difference in the game, and we'll see how it plays out when we end up in the top of the 7th.
Hey, Chip, we need to remind everybody that they can purchase a DVD copy of all of the Spring Fling Championship coverage by going to TSSAA and looking for the green Buy Now button. So if you've got a son or daughter or grandson or granddaughter or niece or nephew or friend or whatever involved, and you want to have a special memory, take advantage of it right there.
Or you just enjoy the very best of high school athletics.
Maybe you do. You want to watch this game over again.
And why would you not?
That's right. Well, Harding, the big thing they've got to do is they have battled all year. And that's been their story. And that's why Al Stevens has been so proud of this team. They won the region for the first time in 21 years, and they had to fight back against Tipton Rosemont to do it. But if they're going to do it here, they've got to hold them and hang. That's the key. They cannot give up any more runs. You know, I said something wrong. Tipton Rosemark, I should have said. I apologize.
That's a new school.
That's a new school. It is one I'm not as familiar with.
In Millington. It's exactly why I turned to the book of knowledge here.
The book of knowledge.
To figure out exactly. That was not one I was extremely familiar with.
The 3-0. Matheny's aboard. And so they're going to run for him, I'm guessing. And this is going to be Logan Carey. He and Tinker have shared the running duties. Here's Hensley, who's 1 out of 2 and has pitched a gem to this point, overcoming some early problems. Nearly got hit again. Reached on a hit by pitch back in the 3rd inning. He was in trouble at one point in this game. Bad trouble. Takes a strike. He was getting hit hard in the 3rd inning, but got out of it, allowing just a run. Breaking balls high, 2-1. And sometimes when you see those pitchers, much like what Jake Criswell did in the first game, when you get through those hard times, it steals you. 3-1. And that's what it's done for Hensley. He and Mayhall were both finalists for Mr. Football. Number off the end of the bat. It's foul.
And I would take a guess that football and baseball are probably not the only two sports those two young men play.
I'd say that's right. I don't know that for sure.
Just a guess.
Yeah. Both these teams, I marvel at the number of athletes that they have. I mean, all around, really good-looking athletes. That's high. And there's another walk. So can they stay with Beasley any longer? I don't think Al Stevens thinks so. I believe he's going to get Eccles in here and make the change, as Beasley's giving him all that he can. And this is what you know about coming out of the loser's bracket. This is the difficult.
There comes a time when you run out of pitching. But Eccles is a guy who can give them, at least one more inning, maybe a couple, give them a chance to try to score some runs, get back in it. But another change of the glove, and
it looks as if, let's see what they're going to do here. They're going to send Brown, I think, back to left field.
Yep.
And they're going to move Ward to center. And they're going to bring in Eccles to pitch. And somebody's going to have to play third base. See who that is. Eccles pitched the earlier game, the game earlier in the week, the first of what is now 3 meetings between USJ and Harding. The one won by University School 2 days ago, 13-0. Eccles went 3 1/3, 6 hits, 6 runs, 5 earned, 4 walks, 4 strikeouts.
Looks like Beasley's going to be at third.
Beasley will move back to third, which is where he started the game.
Right.
All right, so we have all that down, and Eccles, right-hand pitcher, taking his warm-up tosses. Here in the bottom of the 6th inning, first and second, nobody out. 2 walks to begin. Matheny and Hensley, both of whom are being run for. So let's move Ward to center officially as they announce that. And let's put Brown back in left. And we'll put Beasley back at third. That's what we need to do. Tinker is going to be the man running at first. And Eccles is going to get ready to face Hughes and Ben Browse. And possibly Findlay. And for right now, Chase Hensley, what's he doing sitting in the dugout? What's he thinking about? What's going through his mind? Is this wait, I'm sure he'd love to see his team score 5 runs and be done with it, but there's a part of him that wants to be part of the dog pile when he gets the last out.
He wants to be on the bottom of it.
After working to come back as he did from that news about, there is something wrong with your back, and it is not good.
That would be a Cinderella story for USJ if they could get that done with him on the mound today.
Hughes is the hitter. Eccles, the outstanding center fielder, fires a strike.
By the way, the wind has taken another little bit of a turn and picked up some velocity, blowing out, but more towards center now than right.
Nobody out in the inning. Showing bunt is Hughes. He did not get it. Strike 2. Battleground Academy wins their first ever state championship in the game before this one, knocking off MUS 5-3. MUS put on quite a rally in the 7th. Got interesting for a while. Curveball, strike 3.
That one just froze him.
Froze me too. I was like, wow, did that really drop like that? Had to look at the replay almost, or the monitor.
Let's take a look at it right here. We'll see the pitch come in, and right there, right at the belt.
Yeah. Rouse is the hitter. He's trying to make something happen here. Rouse 0 for 3. Swing and a miss. Brad Dyer, the head coach, on him about keep your shoulder in. Keep that front shoulder in. Easier said than done when you're batting in the state championship game. Nice off-speed pitch. Count is 0-2. Just everybody sort of in a waiting mode right now when you're in this situation. The team leading by 5, hitting in the bottom of the 6th. Pretty close. Eccles thought he had him.
Yeah, everybody's just waiting to see what Harding Academy can do with their 3 outs in the top of the 7th.
You always like to be in a situation where the opposition needs more runs than you need outs. It gives you a little bit of breathing room.
Willie and I were talking earlier about that. You know, the difference in a 5-run lead as opposed to a 4-run lead is more than just 1 run.
Absolutely.
Similar to basketball, that 10 is a greater lead than 9. It's a whole lot more than just 1.
Very true. Such a perception with it. From everybody's standpoint, from the hitting team standpoint and from the defensive teams.
Woo!
Got away. Is it a foul ball? I'm guessing so. There was no signal initially, but they're going to say that Ben Browse was able to get a little bit of it. I thought for a minute it just got away, but as we take a second look,
yep, he hit it.
He sure did.
Right off the plate.
We could not see it because we're shielded by the home plate umpire, Mark Newman, who I think has done a really nice job calling balls and strikes today.
Newman.
2-2 the count. Eccles fires low. 3-2. So you don't, when we talked about Dyer being aggressive, you don't think about starting the runners here just to make it interesting to see if you can't ignite a little more offense. Not worrying that if you get thrown out, who cares?
Not a bad idea.
He's not doing it. Ball skips in there anyway for ball 4. I appreciate the positive reinforcement.
Sure.
It's getting late. You're with me. Here's Finley. By the way, nice job by Browse there to work that walk. And so now Finley with a chance to absolutely blow it wide open with the bases loaded. Or would be next if he reaches. Only 1 out in the inning. Finley's 0 for 3.
This is a batter that is you could almost call him a tipping point batter. If he gets a base hit, it blows the game open. If he hits a ground ball to short or second, they're able to turn something, changes the whole complexion of things.
Tight at the corners, middle infielders at double play depth. Finley, fly out to right, ground out to short, strikeout looking, 0 for 3.
Those infielders in at the corners to try to discourage the bunt, but also keep themselves in position in case there is a double play opportunity.
That's a strike, and to have the chance to get the force at home.
Right. Those guys on the corners in to try to cut the run off at the plate if it's a chopper.
They know they can't give up anymore. Eccles. Beautiful off-speed pitch. He pulled the string. 1-2 the count. Finley, losing pitcher in game 1. 4 innings, 4 hits, 5 runs, 3 earned, 4 walks, 1 strikeout. Didn't do a bad job. Strikes out there. 2 down for Orr, who is 3 out of 3. Single, single, single. Scored a run, make that score 2 runs in the ball game. But for Ward, a hit here would really complete a fantastic day.
Boy, and you look at that last 2 pitches that Eccles made, set him up with the changeup, and then threw the Linda Ronstadt blew by you right at it.
Pitch on the corner for a strike. The third baseman, Beasley, stays in pretty tight. The first baseman, Harford, is back now with 2 outs. Acting as if he may bunt or takes another strike.
Eccles really has a lot of confidence in that off-speed pitch that he can throw it for a strike and doesn't think that the hitter is going to have patience enough to wait on it.
Look how shallow the outfield is as well. If he gets one over their heads, it's 3 bases. But they know they've got to catch a blooper, a Texas leaguer, whatever. They can't allow anything to fall in front of them. Eccles with an 0-2 pitch. On the corner, called strike 3. So Eccles comes in, strikes out the side, and holds it where Harding Academy needs it. Still a 5-run game. We go to the 7th. USJ 7, Harding Academy down to their last chance, 2. Hensley will not get a chance to finish it. They're going to go to the guy who's been the lead pitcher all year. And this is 22, the center fielder Garner, the junior. And so we'll have some defensive changes that we need to make. Guessing they'll move Mayhall to center field, and it looks like they put Hensley in left. So that may be all they do defensively is they. Garner struck out 12 in the win yesterday that got him here.
Well, it's pretty simple. Ryan Garner wants 3 outs before Harding Academy can score 5 runs.
He throws a strike.
If they can make that happen, a championship trophy heads down to Madison County.
Swing and a miss by Flowers, who's hit a couple of long ones. Ryan Garner. Flowers has a triple, and he also flied out deep to left center on a nice catch by Mayhall. So he is 1 out of 3. The 1-2, he struck him out. 2 outs to go. And USJ, look at this pitch.
Almost unhittable.
Under the hands and hard. You love it. He's not playing.
No.
The hitter is Hurdle. Hurdle 0 for 2 with a sacrifice fly. Swing and a foul tip.
I tell you, at this level, and for that fact, any level, if a pitcher can have command on the inside half of the plate, boy, you've got such an advantage.
Absolutely true. 100%. Ooh, very close. 1-2. Outfield straight away, pretty deep. 1 out to get. And it brings up Beasley. Look at this. Shoot.
Worked him to the outside.
Beasley takes a strike.
Hey, he's not fooling around. He's coming right after him, isn't he?
Absolutely. 0-2 the count. Now down to the last strike. 4 innings ago, it looked like USJ was in bad, bad trouble. And now they're a pitch away from winning this thing. The University School of Jackson Bruins are the state champions in Division II Class AA.
How about Ryan Garner's exclamation point in the 7th? K, and a third K. 3 strikeouts to strike out the side.
I now understand Brad Dyer's comment to me this morning about 9:15. I said, who you pitching? He said, well, I wish I could pitch Ryan Garner. He said, you'd like to throw your ace in this situation today, but he said, you can't have everything you want. In that inning, he got everything he wanted.
He got Garner in there when everything was on the line.
But it took Chase Hensley
6 innings of work
getting them there. Hensley 8 hits allowed, 2 runs, and a great job getting out of the 3rd inning and then pitching 3 innings after that, just spotless. As these two teams play 6 games this year, each win 3. And the 2 games today could not have been more different. Harding Academy disappointed, but they have absolutely nothing to be ashamed of. They came back from the losers bracket, and they had USJ in trouble. But the Bruins played like champions, and that's what they are right now. USJ wins 7-2 over Harding Academy. The trophy presentation coming up. The USJ Bruins rally from a 2-0 deficit to knock off the Harding Academy Lions to win the Division II Class A baseball championship, 7-2. Coach Al Stevens, a Harding Academy Lion in his own right, having played there and graduating in 1989. And he mentioned to us this morning, Chip, just how proud he was of this team, and boy, you sure can't understand that.
You certainly can, and I know his team right now. You look down that first baseline and you see, guys with their heads down maybe a little bit, but to get where they have gotten this year, winning 30 games, getting to the state title game, forcing a second championship game, says an awful lot about what that team is made of. Same for USJ. We've been really fortunate today to see 4 teams that have just battled, tooth and toenail, trying to win titles at the Division II level. USJ, they changed momentum when it had to be changed one last time today, and that made a huge difference.
USJ showing excellent sportsmanship as they applaud for Al Stevens and Harding Academy. And here's what you need to know about Harding Academy. Every player that played a significant role for Harding Academy today is back next year.
That, and you look at that team, you see those Montreal Expo hats they have on, the 3 colored hats, in honor of a teammate with cancer, helped raise a lot of money for a family. That says what kind of family they are. Brad Dyer on the other side, he and his USJ team about to accept the state championship trophy with their 34th win of the year.
Well, many of these young men, including Lee Mayhall, who just took the trophy, were disappointed that they did not win the state championship in football. They came very close, losing to St. George's, and they get it done in baseball. Their 4th state championship, and they are certainly very excited that they were able to do it, and they return a good bit of this championship team. So they have a lot to be proud of, a lot of proud parents, and a lot of excitement there. And what a tip of the cap we must give to West Tennessee baseball, as both of these teams, obviously, one from Memphis, one from Jackson, representing an area of the state that produced several outstanding teams, including The other team that competed for a championship here today, outside of the champion Battleground Academy,
MUS.
Memphis University School.
Yeah, that's right. And we were talking about that in the earlier game. You think about the tradition of high school baseball in Memphis. Kind of starts with Christian Brothers in Germantown and Houston, and then you add folks like Cordova in there. All of the private schools who have made so many strides, but in the baseball lore in the city of Memphis has been very, very good. You don't have to go far up I-40 to get to Jackson, and it carries over there as well.
Well, congratulations. There you see them. The picture for a lifetime. The University School of Jackson, Division II Class A state champions. Congratulations to them and to the Division II Class AA state champions for the first time ever, the Battleground Academy Wildcats. Two deserving title holders beating two worthy foes today on a great day of baseball at Reese Smith Jr. Field on the campus of Middle Tennessee State University. For Willie Donick, for Chip Walters, and for our entire crew today, Mike Keith says thanks for being with us, and we hope you'll join us tomorrow at 11 Central Time when we start off with the Class A state championship game. AA's at 2, AAA's at 5. Another full day of baseball from the Spring Fling. Have a great night, everybody.